Start. Done. Okay, so good morning and sorry for the delay. So I will be covering in 2 hours only, so don't worry. Okay, so the objective of our today's session is to discuss the analysis of geography as well as disaster management. Okay, so here I will not be teaching you the topics of geography, but for today we shall be analyzing the syllabus as well as PYQs, so that you can learn that whenever you are reading any topic, so to what extent you have to read, because if more and more questions are UPSC is asking every year, then you have to focus more on that topic. So for at least for today's session, please don't expect that I will explain any topic in detail, for example monsoon or anything. Even if you have any doubt, you can discuss after the class. So my today's aim is to analyze the syllabus and PYQs. After that we will be practicing some questions. So we shall be discussing some templates that okay, UPSC is repeating all these type of questions, so at least 60% questions I could be able to solve through all these templates. So before starting the analysis of syllabus, first of all briefly I want to discuss the importance of geography as a subject. So first of all, you tell me that what do you understand, that what all UPSC can ask in geography? Yes? And? Okay. And? Because if you have the idea that what all comes in geography, then only you can prepare the subject holistically, right? So yes, please tell me, what do you think according to what, like she said physical geography, she said economic geography, any other kind of geography? Yes? Oh, okay, so in Indian geography also physical will also come, and this one also come. Any other topic which can come under geography? Yes? Oceanography, very good. Yes, come on. Any other? Very good. So basically geomorphology will come, and so physical geography actually she said a broader part. So oceanography, climatology, all these things are part of geography only. So generally students have a perception that geography is equal to physical geography. Generally people think that geography is about the climate, about the landforms, about the oceans, etc. But there is a 50% other part of the geography which is actually very boring also, but it can fetch you a very good marks, and that is the economic geography. Economic geography is a part, actually it is human geography. So in human geography you will be reading about the resources, you will be reading about the human demography, about the population, about the location of industries, about how a particular area is not developing and how another area is developing a lot. So generally students think this is not a part of geography. That's why I discussed that all these things are a part of geography only. I will discuss how these things are part of geography. First of all, it was important to understand this, that what all comes under geography. Now see, if we talk about the breakdown of syllabus in all the GS papers, so geography as a subject explicitly is mentioned under GS paper 1, right? Explicitly under GS paper 1 geography is as a subject, and every year around for 80 to 100 marks directly questions are asked from geography as a subject. So directly it is from GS paper 1 only. But if we talk about the linkages of geography from other subjects, so here just now you said that geography is related to human geography also. That means some part of economics can also be added in geography, right? Geography is also related to disaster management also, because today I will not discuss disaster management as a separate topic, because every year in disaster management some geography concept will be there, in geography some disaster management concept will be there. So we shall be combining. So some of the part of geography will be included in disaster management, because let's see how UPSC asks the question. For example, one disaster is cyclone. So what will be the geography part? UPSC will ask what are the causes of cyclones, or what is the distribution of cyclones all over the world, full stop. Then discuss the mitigation measures or discuss the preparedness measures. So this is a single question. Now this question can be asked in GS paper 1 also, this can be asked in GS paper 3 also. So that's why we shall be discussing combining all these topics. So we were discussing that in geography economy can also come, in geography disaster management can also come, in geography environment can also come, right? All these things will be important part of geography. So explicitly I am saying that in GS paper 1 about for 80 to 100 marks geography will play an important part, but indirectly if you ask me, indirectly around 50 or 60 marks extra can be added. How? Because if you are reading geography, you must have the idea about the environment also. You must have the idea about if any cyclone or any tornado twister is happening, how we will mitigate all those things. So for that you must have idea of disaster management also. If we are talking about geography, in geography we read about the natural resources, right? So for economy you need resources, either they are natural or they are fossil. So any kind of resources you will be needing. That's why economy is also very important part. Whenever you are reading geography, you will be reading about the irrigation systems, right? Irrigation systems are directly related to agriculture. Agriculture is explicitly important part of GS paper 3 under economy. So here you will include the agriculture also. Apart from that, related to geography, in geography you read about the renewable energy, you read about fossil fuels. Directly related to all these things is the power distribution in the country, right? Power distribution is an important part of GS paper 3 in economy. So here I will include energy also. So if indirectly you ask me, no, so in indirectly around of 160 or 170 marks you can easily prepare if you are preparing geography holistically. That's why point number 1 should be that what all things come under geography, so that when you are reading, when you are preparing for GS paper 1, so please keep all the notes of GS paper 3 also with you. So whenever you are revising any topic, if you are revising the topic of cyclone, then for cyclone also read that what should be the disaster preparedness. Then for that also should be read what all things government must do, what should be steps taken by the government. So in this way you have to prepare the subject like this. Next important thing is, if you prepare geography holistically, then I would say around 30% of the syllabus you can easily cover, because here you are covering GS paper 1 also, here you are covering important part of GS paper 3 also, because in GS paper 3 some part of economy you will take, some part of environment you will take, some part of disaster management you will take, and plus if you talk about the paper of essay, so in paper of essay also geography plays an important role, because the questions on the urban development, the question on sustainable development, the question on any essay topic on the climate change, all these things are important topics which are asked in essay, right? So because nowadays UPSC is giving the essays of philosophical essays, but sometimes UPSC might give the easy topics also. So these all topics will help you in essay also. So that's why I am saying please try to read geography holistically. Next thing is, it is very easy to fetch good marks in geography. The reason for that is, in geography you have a lot of options to show to the examiner that see I know a lot of things. What are those lot of things? Whenever you write any geography, you have to make map of anything. Even if you don't know how to make a map, how would I make map in the economic geography, then also you have to make a map. We will learn how to make maps. Important thing is, in geography you have a lot of options to add, because simply if I ask what are the causes of floods in the Himalayan region, everyone would be knowing the answer, but what will set you apart, what extra things you have added. So what extra things you could have added? You could have made simply a map of Western Himalayas, and you could have through arrow you could have added some of the causes. These are the causes. In Eastern Himalayas these are the causes, in Western Himalayas these are the causes. Or second thing, you could have added some kind of case studies or some kind of examples. So value addition also we shall be discussing in this class, because here I am considering that you know the answer. After that now we will be doing some value additions, that what all things you could add in your answer. Next thing about this is, whenever you read about any current affairs, so all the current affairs somewhere or the other you can relate to the geography. For example, if recently there was news about the air pollution in Delhi, right? So this air pollution in Delhi, on the face of it, it can be seen that it is a topic of environment, right? Water pollution, air pollution. But there is a geographical aspect also, that why only in Delhi we are having a lot of pollution. So if I talk a geographical aspect, because actually this question was asked also, I think 2014 or 15, that why a lot of pollution is happening in Delhi and not in other metro cities. So generally people will think that this is a question of GS paper 3, but since it was asked in GS paper 1, that means even if you don't know, you have to think of some geographical perspective. So the core reason for that was that since Delhi is a landlocked area, and if there is landlocked area, there will not be any influence of the sea, there will not be any sea breezes, because these kind of things you can see in coastal cities, for example Mumbai or Chennai. So there you won't see a lot of pollution because sea breeze take a lot of pollution, but in Delhi it is a landlocked city. So Delhi is a landlocked city. What we are discussing? We are discussing the geography of that region, right? So in this way, because even in those times students might think that no, I will write a complete environment answer. But if it is asked in GS paper 1, you have to give some geography, right? So that's why I am saying you take any topic from the current affairs, apart from polity or no entirely different thing, you have to relate geography. For example, if you talk about international relations, so recently there was news about the Greenland, right? Recently there was news about the Arctic ice, that Arctic ice is melting. So this is a very important topic in the international relations, that you know USA want to dominate that region, or if we talk about the South China Sea, so China wants to dominate South China Sea. What is the reason? Reason is geographical. If we talk about South China Sea, what is the reason? Mineral resources. Mineral resources is important part of geography, right? Why countries are focusing more on the Arctic ice? Because of the climate change, Arctic ice is melting. And if Arctic ice is melting, so it will be easy for the countries to go to the Arctic region, because new routes will be created. So what we are talking? We are talking about the geography, we are talking about the location, and that too we are talking about ice. So in geography syllabus you will read, there is one line that phenomena and all the polar ice caps, glaciers, water bodies. So that is also part of geography. So any topic you give me, mostly you will relate those topics with geography. So that's why we discuss the importance of geography and how you have to interlink all the themes in the geography. Now quickly let's see, first we will be discussing the syllabus, how to import it. Yes. So here from where it starts, yes. So here I will change the color first. See here, first topic in geography is salient features of world's physical geography. So here basically we will be dividing our geography in two parts, human geography, physical geography. In that also we shall be doing the subparts. So here this point is salient features of world's physical geography. Explicitly it is saying that it is related to physical geography. Now next part of physical geography will be important geophysical phenomena. For example, earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. So etc. you have to think. What all other things are in news, you have to think about those phenomena. So this geophysical phenomena is also part of physical geography only. Next it says geographical features and their location. Geographical features similarly. So here it is talking about geophysical phenomena, for example earthquake. This is talking about geographical features, these are the geographical features. It is saying their location. That means on the world map you must know the distribution, that in which all locations more volcanoes can erupt, in which all locations earthquakes can happen. So this is the meaning of their location. So even if this line was not given, it was understood that if you are reading geography, you must know the locations of all these phenomena on the world map. After that, changes in critical geographical features, that means water bodies, ice caps and flora, fauna and the effects of such changes. So under physical geography, this part I will consider as part of environment geography. Okay, so this part from geographical features, flora, fauna, effects of such changes. So from here to here I will consider this part as a part of environmental geography. And this, if we talk about salient features of world geography, so here many of these parts I will consider as a part of geomorphology. Right. Now And here when we are talking about important geophysical phenomena, so here if we talk about earthquake or volcanic activity, these can happen because of the geomorphology, right, from the forces of interior of the earth. But other geophysical phenomena, for example cyclone, tornadoes, twisters, these can be part of climatology, right. So here many phenomena you can include. So here you can write about geomorphology also, climatology also, oceanography also, etc. Now coming to next part, that is human geography. So here it talks about distribution of key natural resources across the world. So for the world also you have to study, for India also you have to study. So first important part is about the key natural resources. Next important part talks about the location of industries in various parts of the world including India. Understood? So here basically our syllabus is divided in two parts. First is physical geography and second is the human geography. And in physical geography various parts you can include, for example geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, because when we are talking about the resources, so ocean resources will also come in that, right. And finally this is the environmental geography. Now see, only this is the definite thing which UPSC has given us, because after that we don't know what all topics UPSC can ask. Now it depends on us that how we are breaking down these topics, that according to us what more things can come under geophysical phenomena, or according to us what more kind of natural resources UPSC can ask. Okay, so this is the basic breakdown of the syllabus. Now quickly let's discuss about the PYQs. So see here PYQs, under PYQs what I have done, how to change it. How to change the page? Yes? This? Okay, this one? This one? Okay, understood. Okay, so see, actually these are the screenshots from which I used to analyze the PYQs, so that's why I am not opening the complete document. So these are some of the PYQs, so these I added my screenshots only from the questions I analyzed. So we shall be discussing same kind of analysis. So first of all we shall start discussing about the physical geography. So first physical geography, then we will summarize, because all type of questions I will be discussing, then at the end we will be summarizing that from all these things also what all things just you have to revise. So there are just 3 or 4 things only, you don't have to revise many things. And please remember that whenever any teacher says that UPSC repeats the question, it's not like same topic will be repeated, same theme can be repeated, but same topic can no, it's not possible that every time same topic will be repeated. So now we are starting with world's physical geography. So in world's physical geography, please note that here, yes, so in physical geography first of all we shall be starting with geomorphology, right. So in geomorphology, here it was very interesting thing, 3 times the topic of landslide was asked. Please read the question. Bring out the causes for more frequent landslides in Himalayas than in Western Ghats. Then Himalayas are highly prone to landslides, discuss the causes and suggest measures. Then differentiate the causes of landslides in the Himalayan region and Western Ghats. And 2 or 3 questions on landslides are already asked in disaster management also under GS paper 3. So do you realize what type of questions they ask? What are the causes of landslides? And apart from that you must know the highly prone regions of landslides in India. That's it. You can easily write the answer. Now I think not many questions are asked from the deserts. Yes, now this topic of cyclone, because this was also repeated a lot. So here, in 2023 topic was asked, the recent cyclone in the east coast of India was called Phylon. That is okay, it was part of current affairs. Here, how are the tropical cyclones named across the world? So whenever you are reading about tropical cyclones, you will read the causes of cyclones, right? You will be learning the map, the picture, how you have to make the picture of cyclone, you have to label the diagram. After that you will read the distribution of cyclones. Then you in every current affairs it will be given that how cyclones are named across the countries. So a basic thing about that. Then tropical cyclones are largely confined to South China Sea, Bay of Bengal and Gulf of Mexico. Why? A very basic thing, because if you know the causes of cyclone, then UPSC can give any name here, you can easily write. What is the main cause? Because tropical cyclones need high temperature as well as a lot of moisture. So even if UPSC give any unknown location also, no, you will write the same answer, that because in all these locations a lot of moisture and temperature more than 27 degrees centigrade is available. That's why all these places are very good for the formation of cyclones. Again, question in 2022, discuss the meaning of color coded warnings for cyclone prone areas. Color coded warning is a theme under disaster management. So see how UPSC is relating. You must know the about cyclone also, and you must know the disaster preparedness of cyclone also. Because color coded warning, no one can think that this type of question can be asked in the GS paper 1. Next, what is sea surface temperature rise? How does it affect the formation of tropical cyclones? We already know whenever the temperature is very high, tropical cyclones can be easily formed. So here it is relating, so it is asking the same thing, that if sea surface temperature is rising a lot, how it will affect the formation of tropical cyclones. So how you will answer? You already know that how cyclones are formed. So if temperature is increased, it is very obvious, you will write a simple word, the cyclone will intensify, that's it. Because already it have the moisture, now if you are increasing more and more temperature, it will intensify. Yes, now, just a second. Yes, so here all these themes which I am discussing, no, these are the themes from which the themes are repeated year after year. So small themes I am not discussing here. So we discussed about landslides because topics were repeated. We discussed about cyclones. Yes, now this topic of plate tectonics. So mostly every year something or the other related to plate tectonics will be asked. Right. So here if we talk about 2013, what do we understand by the theory of continental drift? Discuss the prominent evidences. So see, since this question was asked in 2013, it was a kind of bookish question, because in books only you read about all these things, that what is plate tectonic theory, what is continental drift theory. Now UPSC gradually will ask the applications. So here see, from 2014, it is asking why are the world's fold mountain system located along the margins of continents, directly related to plate tectonics, because the concept of folding, right? Explain the formation of thousands of islands in Indonesia and Philippines archipelagos, directly related to the convergent boundaries under plate tectonics. Define mantle plume and explain its role in plate tectonics. So mantle plume is the only reason because of which plates are diverging or plates are converging. So very basic thing. Discuss the geophysical characteristics of circum-Pacific zone. Circum-Pacific zone is an important convergent zone in the Pacific Ocean. So whenever you are reading about the divergent convergent plate boundaries, you must have the idea of the complete globe. So on the map, whenever you open your atlas, so in your atlas please look for the locations, that which locations have convergent boundaries, which locations have divergent boundaries. And circum-Pacific zone is a very favorite question of any exam. Next, mention the global occurrences of volcanic eruptions in 2021 and their impact. So basically it is asking the phenomena also, it is asking the impact also. Volcanic eruption is also related to plate tectonics, right? Briefly mention the alignment of major mountain ranges of the world. Here it asked why are the world's fold mountains located around the margins of the continents. Again question on the fold mountains in 2021. So in some way or the other, this plate tectonics theory becomes very, very important. Maybe directly it is not mentioned plate tectonics, but even if question comes on earthquake, you will write about plate tectonics, right? Even if the question comes just on the volcanoes, you will write about plate tectonics. Even if question comes on tsunami, in tsunami also plate tectonics play an important role, right? So anyway, in some way or the other, plate tectonics you can easily relate. Now, next repeated topic is the monsoon. So in monsoon, what all things you must know? What are the causes of monsoons, right? What is the distribution of monsoon? Because in some of the places get very high rainfall, some of the places experience drought. So that's why you have to study monsoon in detail. So see, let's see what are the questions. How far do you agree that behavior of Indian monsoon has been changing due to humanizing landscape? So basically, it is asking the impact of human activities on monsoon. So basically, it is one of the concept of climate change, that earlier monsoon was normal, but now monsoon is becoming abnormal. So what are the causes? So whenever you read the topic of monsoon, you will first of all read that how monsoon happen, but don't just be limited to that thing. Then you read the applications, that what is the status of monsoon at present. So in status, what you will read, that earlier monsoon used to be normal, but now the places which were receiving very less rainfall, those places are now experiencing the drought conditions, and the regions of heavy rainfall are experiencing the flood conditions. So this is the change, how it is happening. Then study why these changes are happening. So these changes are mainly happening because of human activities. So question was on human activities. What characteristics can be assigned to monsoon climate that succeeds in feeding more than 50% of the world population residing in monsoon Asia? So basically it is asking about the Indian monsoon only. Why is the southwest monsoon called Purvaiya in Bhojpur region? See, this question might look typical, but whenever you read about the mechanism of monsoon, so what generally happens in monsoon? Yes, have you read about this question? Yes, can anyone please explain? Yes, at least try. So see, whenever, please tell me first, whenever you read that question, so do you think that it is very difficult question? You cannot answer, or you are not understanding anything? No. Okay, then please try to give the answer. Yes. So question is, why is the southwest monsoon called Purvaiya or easterly in Bhojpur region? Yes? Yes, anyone? At least try. Okay, tell me which is Bhojpur region in India? Yes? No idea? Region of Jharkhand, Bihar, that is Bhojpur region. Now tell me that why in those regions southwest monsoon is called Purvaiya? Yes, obviously it has to do with the direction, because monsoon we call as southwest, but in those regions it is called easterly. So obviously it has to do with the direction only. See, so actually no, the question is not typical. The difference lies in how you understand the question. See, I will explain in this way, just a second. Yes, see, when you talk about the southwest monsoon, no, so for example this is peninsular India. So in southwest monsoon what happens? For example this is equator. What is happening in southwest monsoon? The easterly winds cross the equator and they change the direction, right? So because of that, since these winds appear to coming from southwest direction, that's why we call them as southwest monsoon. Now this monsoon have two branches. One branch is of Arabian Sea, one branch of Bay of Bengal. So here one branch will act for the Arabian Sea and one branch will be for the Bay of Bengal. Now here, since we have to talk about the Bhojpur region, so here you must make a basic map of northeast India, and then somewhere here we will be having the region of Bihar and region of Jharkhand. Okay, so this is the Bhojpur region. Now what will happen to these winds? See, since we are talking about the Bhojpur region, and in the question it is given that they are known as easterly, so it is very obvious that we will not talk about the Arabian Sea branch, because if Arabian Sea branch is going to Bihar, it will not seem to be coming from east. Okay, any branch which can come from east will be Bay of Bengal branch. So whenever this branch is, no, first of all this branch will hit here, and whenever this branch is going here, there are some of the mountains present in the Myanmar. So those mountains are Arakan Yoma, Pegu Yoma. So what these branches will do, these branches will hit here, and after hitting here, these branches will change the direction. So that's why, because of this change in direction, for people here it seems that these winds are coming from the eastern direction. So actually this thing was not typical, because whenever you read about how the monsoon works, you read all these things. You read everywhere that whenever we talk about this Arabian Sea branch, so this Arabian Sea branch goes in parallel direction to the Aravalli mountains. That's why rainfall does not happen in Rajasthan, because rainfall can only happen if any mountain obstruct the winds, then only rainfall can happen. So all these things you read in monsoon. So actually this question was very basic, just you have to think. First of all, you must know what is Bhojpur region, then only you can answer that question. Now if you know this is Bhojpur region, you already know how these winds travel and how they are obstructed by all these mountains and how they change the direction. So question was simple, diagram were also the same. Even if you were writing any other answer related to monsoon, you could have made the same diagram only, because in that question also you will make these mountains, in that question also you will change the direction. Just that here the UPSC is focusing on this region. Understood? So maybe that's why I am saying that same type of question will not be repeated every year, but same theme can be repeated. So here this is the live example. Actually map will also remain the same, just your some of the content will change. Yes, so I think we already discussed about the monsoon. Yes, now coming about the oceanography. So basically in oceanography, UPSC is repeating two type of themes. First theme is about the ocean currents. So what are the causes of ocean currents, what is the impact of ocean currents on world climate, these type of themes are repeated. So here question of 2015, explain the factors responsible for the origin of ocean currents. Very basic question. Whenever you start reading about the ocean current, this is the first basic thing, that how they even generate. Then how do they influence regional climates, fishing and navigation. So what is the learning from here? Whenever you read about any phenomena, any type of phenomena, please read the impact of that phenomena. Impact of that phenomena on humans, impact of that phenomena on environment. So any type of answer, any type of question you can easily answer. So please don't get limited to any phenomena. For example, if I am talking about phenomena of temperature inversion, right? So temperature inversion, just don't read that what is temperature inversion, what are the causes of temperature inversion and what is the diagram. Please don't get limited to that. After that, read the impacts of temperature inversion. Now impacts on what? Impacts on human beings, impact on environment, impact on water bodies, all these things. Next question. What are the forces that influence ocean currents? Same question. Same question in 2015. Explain the factors responsible for ocean currents. Same question in 2022. What are the factors that influence ocean currents? So mainly the theme of ocean currents is being repeated. See, one question was asked on account for the variations in the oceanic salinity. So oceanic salinity is a characteristic of ocean, right? Because when you read about the ocean currents, so how ocean currents generate, in that salinity and density have important role to play. This you know, because this is the very basic of ocean currents, then only ocean currents can flow. So here the question is on that very basic, that what is the variation of salinity in oceans. So see, whenever you read about the salinity in oceans, I will not discuss in detail, but a very basic, that whenever the regions where the temperature is very high, so the water will evaporate. If water evaporates, salinity will increase, right? And whenever we talk about the polar regions where ice is present, so in polar regions salinity will be very low. Or the regions where fresh water is flowing, many rivers are flowing, in those regions salinity will be very low. So you don't need to remember particular data of each and every region of the world. Just now I discussed all these things, only you have to write. You have to generalize everything. This is the status of equator, this is the status of tropical regions, this is the status of polar regions, this is the status of any landlocked sea. For example, Red Sea. Red Sea is a landlocked sea. So for the landlocked regions, salinity will be very high, because for the landlocked regions the temperature will be very high. So all these things you have to write. Now, yes, other things. Achha, okay, these things I have discussed. And yes, one more. How do ocean currents and water masses differ in their impact on marine life and coastal environment? Just now we discussed, whenever you read about anything, you have to discuss their impact on humans, environment, marine life, etc. You can answer any type of question. Because see, why I am discussing these kind of topics, you leave those topics which you, if you are not able to answer, 90% of students will also not be able to answer that question. But at least master those topics which are repeated every year. For example, in oceanography, confidently I can say only 2 type of questions can be asked. One question on ocean currents. So what are the causes of ocean currents, how they are impacting the climate, how they are, what impact they have on the humans, what impact they have on the environment. Second type of question from oceans, what can be asked? Characteristics of ocean, density of ocean, salinity of the ocean, distribution of salinity all over the world, that's it. Third type of question, if we talk about, so this is a part of human geography also. So if we talk about the ocean, you can talk about ocean resources. What all resources are available in the oceans? You make a world map. In world map you locate what type of resources are available in Indian Ocean, what type of resources in Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, all these things. So only 3 type of questions can be asked. So this is very easy for you. You don't have to go deep in any topic. So please tell me what 3 topics can be asked from oceanography? Ocean currents, yes. Then characteristics of oceans, right? The distribution of salinity or density. Third topic, yes. Ocean resources. Ocean resources. So in ocean resources, many things can come. So if you prepare ocean resources in detail, any type of question you can answer. Now, next topic from where many questions are coming is the topic related to atmosphere. In atmosphere, many things can come. In atmosphere, the topic of cyclones can also come, right? In atmosphere, the topic of temperature inversion also come. In atmosphere, the layers of atmosphere can also come, troposphere, stratosphere. So see, this question from 2022, troposphere is a very significant atmospheric layer that determines weather process. Why? Actually, this is a very basic question, because when you read the layers of atmosphere, for every layer, you will see read the importance. What is the importance of troposphere? What is the importance of stratosphere? It was very basic question. So what all things you could have written here? You will write the reason that why it is significant, and you could have made the diagram, the layers of atmosphere, right? All these things you could have done. Next, what is the phenomena of cloud burst? Explain. So see, since this cloud burst is related to atmosphere only, that whenever air gets heated up, it will rise, right? And if moisture is present, cloud burst can easily happen. So that's why this topic can also come under atmosphere. In atmosphere, you can include cyclones also, because cyclones is also, in cyclones, oceanography and climatology is linked. Right, in cyclones you will include ocean also, you will include the atmosphere also. So cyclone also you can include here. Next, what do you understand by the phenomena of temperature inversion in meteorology? How does it affect the weather and habitants of the place? Again, it is asking the impact. So whenever you read anything, anyhow you have to read the impact. So what is the meaning of temperature inversion? Yes? Yes? Any idea of temperature inversion? So first of all, tell me the normal situation. For example, if air is rising, so whether its temperature will increase or decrease? It will decrease. So this is the normal situation, right? So what will happen in temperature inversion? So in temperature, see, so it's not like you cannot say that whenever air is rising, temperature will increase. So in temperature inversion, what happens? The cold air is struck at the ground only, and above that warm air comes. So since cold air is very dense, it cannot rise, and hence temperature inversion happens. This is very basic of temperature inversion. So in this question, here it is asking the phenomena of temperature inversion. You could have written the definition. So for every phenomena, what should be the template? I think let me write here only. Yes. So whenever you are reading about any phenomena, so what should be the template? First of all, you must write the definition. What is the definition of that phenomena? After that, you must write the causes of that phenomena. Depends on what question is asking. I am just telling you how to prepare. Whenever you are preparing about phenomena, first of all, definition of that thing. And if possible, write the standard definition. For example, some definitions are given by IMD or Ministry of Earth Sciences. So please try to find the standard definitions. First of all, you will write the definitions, then you will write the causes. Here on the right side, prepare a very simple diagram of that phenomena, how cyclone occurs or how temperature inversion occurs. Briefly mention a briefly mention a diagram. After writing the causes, you write the impacts. What are the impacts? And in impacts, at least make 2 headings. First impact will be on humans, and second kind of impact will be on the wildlife, and third kind of impact will be on the environment. At least these 3 impacts you have to prepare. Okay, done with the impacts, right? Now, so see, I am writing in the mains answer format only. So for example, this is your first page. We are done with first page. After that, when you are preparing notes, so please try whenever you are preparing for any topic, or for that matter when you are writing mains answer for geography, please try that on first page some kind of diagram should be there, on second page some kind of map should be there, and on third page some kind of concept or core geographical term must be there. I will tell you what are those core geographical terms. So if I tell you, for example, these 2 terms I am giving. First term I will say the warm ocean waves, and second term I will say the marine heat waves. So marine heat waves is the geographical term, right, and warm ocean waves is a generic term. So please try that in your answer you don't use the generic term, because you are the aspirant, you know all these kind of terms. So please try to focus on the technical terms. So and in third page, try to give some of the standard solutions. Any kind of solution you can give, but a forward looking solution must be there. So we are done with this first page. In second page, either make a map of India, either make a world map, right. For example, if I take the question of earthquake, so for earthquake, if we are making the map of India, so in map of India you will map the earthquake zonation, that what is zone 2 for earthquake, what is zone 3, zone 4 and zone 5. If we are talking about the world, so if we are making a very simple world map here, this is your Africa, this is your India, yes, and this is Russia. So if you are making a very simple world map here, so what you can locate, somewhere here is the circum-Pacific belt, right. Circum-Pacific belt is an important zone for volcanism also, for earthquake also, and in Indian Ocean also some of the regions you can mark for the earthquakes. So in this way, in first or second page somewhere, so if you are making map here, make the diagram here. But since if I am talking about any phenomena, diagram comes with the priority, because on first page you have to explain how that thing happens. So if we are talking about phenomena, on first page diagram must be there. On second page, anyhow you have to make the map. Now if I ask you the topic of urban flooding or urbanization, then what kind of map you can make? Any kind of map you have to show. Now tell me, please think, please brainstorm that what all things you can write on the map. Yes, anything, whatever comes in your mind. Very good. So for example, if the topic is of urban flooding, so just make simply a map of India, and in that map locate 4 or 5 cities, that in these cities urban flooding happened. If you want to add the detail, so if you know the year, that if it happened recently in 2026 or 2025, because the major urban floods people know, aspirants know the years also. So just know in bracket you can write there, that's it. This is the mapping, but just make the mapping. Because see, examiner don't have much time to read your complete answer, but if examiners see 4 or 5 varieties in the answer, no, that in this answer you made the diagram also, you wrote the case study also, you wrote map, you make the map also, anyway he will give 1 or 2 extra marks, and 1 or 2 extra marks in all the 20 answers, it will be a rank decider. So that's why please try to add all these things. So here we are done with this first page, then here we will be making the world map or map of India. Since we have written the impacts, so here we have to write the solutions. So for any phenomena you will write the solutions, what will be the solutions. Now in solutions also break down those solutions, that what solutions can be taken at national level, what solutions can be taken at international level. Because sometimes UPSC can simply ask the question, what are the national efforts taken to deal with this phenomena of tornadoes or twisters or water scarcity, anything. So whenever you are reading about anything, write the solutions national level as well as international level. No, so yes, so basically the solution means the way forward, because see, whenever you are writing the impacts or challenges, you have to write you have to give the solutions also for that. Now for this page 3, leave this page 3 for some extra things. So just this I am teaching you how to make the notes. This is not a complete answer, because if this was answer, then those technical terms or anything you could have added here only, because on first page you have to show what extra things I know. So if here if I talk about the extra things, what all extra things can be added. So first kind of extra thing can be the core geographical words only. What are those core geographical words? See, do you have the idea what is the meaning of sea lane of communication? Yes, any idea? At least try what it is, because this term is repeatedly in news, sea lanes of communication. Okay, see, basically this topic was recently in news because of Strait of Hormuz. So basically sea lanes of communication are nothing but a maritime what you can say communication area, maritime area from where any ship or any trade passes. So easily you could have said the maritime area, but what is the geographical term for that? Sea lanes of communication, from where any ship, any trade or any logistics can pass. So all these type of terms I was talking about. So don't write any simple term, write marine heat waves. Don't write any simple term, write sea lanes of communication. Don't if you are talking about the how mountains are formed, so don't write that rocks bend, write folding. When you are talking about how blocks mountain are formed, so don't write that crack comes in the crust, write faulting happens. So these are the basic geographical terms which you must add in the answer. Yes, so okay, geographical terms are okay, but now after that comes some kind of what you can say models and theories which you can add in your answers. Models and theories, by that I mean how can I explain? So we haven't discussed about the human geography, right, till now? Okay, so all these things I will tell in human geography about the models and theories. Okay, so we are done with phenomena, right? Please leave a small space, more things will become here. Yes, so yes, we are done with this troposphere and all these things, right? Phenomena of temperature. Okay, then discuss the concept of air mass and explain its role in macroclimatic changes. So what is the learning from here? Whenever you read about phenomena, read the impact of that phenomena on humans, wildlife, environment and climate. What is the impact of any phenomena on climate also? Like when you read the phenomena of volcanism, so all those things which come out of volcano, all those dust particles have the major impact on climate. So please add fourth word as the climate. For anything you have to read the impact on climate. When you read about the ocean currents also have important impact on climate. So when you prepare that topic, prepare for the climate also. Now air mass is done. Yes, and you know this concept of air mass, right? What is air mass? So it is atmospheric phenomena only. How does the cryosphere affect the global climate? Again it is asking impact on climate. What is cryosphere? Polar ice caps, glacier regions. So in syllabus only we discuss, no, that syllabus included ice caps also, glaciers also, water bodies also. That's why this question. Important learning here is all these things are asking the impact on climate also. So please read that. What are aurora australis, aurora borealis and how are these triggered? See, I can explain what is this phenomena, but important point here is that all these type of questions are surprise questions. Because if you have read these type of topics in prelims, that is okay, but actually especially for these topics you cannot prepare. So please don't worry about all these kind of topics. Here our main focus is at least you must solve out of 20 questions at least 12 or 13 questions because of the repeated themes. So here these were some of the miscellaneous questions. How does Juno mission of NASA help to understand the origin of all these things? So if you have read this for the prelims, then okay, otherwise you cannot prepare. After that, what is IRNSS? So I think in 2018 this was in news only, that's why it came in mains also. Yes, so if we talk about the physical geography here, so if we talk about all these things, that from phenomena, from climate, from oceanography, what kind of topics are being repeated. So what are topics repeated if we talk about phenomena? So all these phenomena, landslides we discussed, cyclones we discussed, plate tectonics, monsoon, all these phenomena are repeatedly being asked in UPSC. So same phenomena can be asked in geography also. Same phenomena can be asked in disaster management also. Difference will be in disaster management you have to write the solutions. So please add in geography answer also, whenever you give the solutions, in solutions give the disaster management solution also. So in that way, because in disaster management what you are reading? You are reading the solutions for these things. So at least prepare the solution in GS paper 1 only, half of your work will be done. So for all the phenomena, prepare the disaster response also. When we talk about the climate, so what all things are being asked in the climate? Yes, climatic phenomena like the cyclones, like the monsoon. Next, impact of various atmospheric patterns on the climate, like impact of temperature inversion on the climate, impact of cryosphere on the climate. So impact of anything on the climate is being asked under climatology. If we talk about the oceanography, important part which is asked about ocean currents. Next, ocean characteristics like salinity. Next, ocean resources. If we talk about monsoon, mainly the mechanism of monsoon, because if you know the complete mechanism, how Arabian Sea branch goes, how Bay of Bengal branch goes, you can easily answer. Because this time the question was on Purvaiya, so question was on Bay of Bengal branch of Arabian Sea. But sometimes UPSC can ask the question that why less rainfall happens in Rajasthan. So that time question will be related to Arabian Sea branch. So if you read the mechanism of monsoon in detail, any type of question you can ask. Now miscellaneous topics, these are very tough. So these topics if you haven't prepared, you cannot prepare in these 2-3 months. Yes, one more important thing, since just now we discussed that for any atmospheric or climatic phenomena, UPSC is asking the impact on climate, right? So if you read if you by heart the components of climate, so you can write these components only, no? So you don't have, so this is a complete prepared answer, impact of anything on climate. What is the impact? All these things are the impact only, right? If we talk about the impact of, for example, tell me any topic for which we will be discussing the impact on climate, any topic, your answer will fit here. Impact of temperature inversion on the regional climate, how it will happen. So maybe all points will not be covered. Yes, if we talk about the winds, right, if we talk about winds, so what happens in temperature inversion? Cold air is near the ground and warm air is above the ground. So because of that, air cannot rise, and if air cannot rise, the wind speed will become less. You can answer for the wind, right? If we talk about the human activities, components of in climate, so see, human activity you cannot write the impact, right? So from all these impacts, at least 4 or 5 things will fit. If we talk about the atmospheric composition, so how atmospheric composition will change? You can just say that the pattern of air will reverse. So if cold air is near the ground, then dense air will be near the ground, right? So atmospheric composition, you can say that it will alter. If we talk about the solar radiation, so I think solar radiation, can we say anything for the solar radiation? No. No, okay, let it be. If we talk about the temperature, so obviously we are talking about the temperature inversion. If we talk about the humidity and precipitation, so can precipitation happen in the condition of temperature inversion? No, right? Why? Yes, yes. What is the basic condition for a rainfall or precipitation to happen? Warm air should rise, then warm air should cool down. It will cool down, it will become heavy, it will become dense, and it will fall. So if we are talking about humidity and precipitation in temperature inversion, then warm air is up only, so cold air cannot rise. How cold air can rise? Then precipitation will reduce. What about air pressure? If colder air is near the ground, pressure will obviously be high because it will be dense. What about the clouds? Will clouds be formed? No. So are you seeing what all things are happening here? So if you remember these 8-9 points, no, in any type of question of impact on climate, at least 4 or 5 points will easily fit. So for that, just learn the components of climate. That's it. Yes. I think what was the topic before that? Okay, miscellaneous, I think we already discussed. Yes. Now in physical geography, next comes the part of environmental geography. It is also part of physical geography only. So in environmental geography, what all things we discussed? About the polar ice caps, water bodies, glaciers, impact on flora, fauna, the marine life, all these things will come under environmental geography. So question of 2014, bring out the relationship between shrinking Himalayan glaciers and symptoms of climate change in the Indian subcontinent. First topic on glaciers, impact on the climate. The states of Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand reaching the limits of their ecological carrying capacity during tourism. The classic question of environment, because it is talking about the ecological carrying capacity, right? See, again one question will come here, I think. Yes, see, read this question. How can the mountain ecosystem be restored from the negative impact of development initiatives? Same answer will come here. Understood? You understood, right? Same type of answer, because here it is talking about the limits of ecological carrying capacity due to tourism. Here it is saying how can mountain ecosystem be restored from the negative impact of development and tourism. Same type of question. What are the consequences of spreading of dead zones in the marine ecosystem? So these type of dead zones, you will read the concept of dead zones, you will be reading in oceanography. So dead zones are basically area in the oceans which have limited or no supply of oxygen. Then assess the impact of global warming on coral life system with examples. So all these marine life forms, for example corals, or flora or fauna, for example mangroves, or any kind of ocean resources or water bodies or glaciers, all these topics will come under environmental geography. So in environmental geography also few things are very fixed. That's in some year UPSC will ask question on melting glaciers. In some year UPSC maybe can ask about the coral reefs. Some year it can ask about the mangroves, right? Or some year it can ask about the ecological carrying capacity. That's it. So these type of questions will get repeated year after year. Yes. Now coming to the human geography, that is natural resources. So we are done with the physical geography. So quickly tell me what all type of questions are asked in physical geography. If I talk about the geomorphology, in geomorphology what type of topics are repeated? Yes? Phenomena we can say like earthquake or volcanism, and second, so basically it is related to plate tectonics. That whenever plates are moving, different kind of phenomena can happen. So all these type of questions are asked in geomorphology. If we talk about climatology, so what all things are repeated? Yes, about monsoon. Next, any other thing? Air masses, okay. Any other thing? Just tell me based on the questions which we have read just now. Monsoons, air masses, and any type of atmospheric phenomena, no, you can talk about. So cyclones will also be the part of that, tornadoes will also be part of that. Okay, so I think we are done with physical geography. So any doubt till now in physical geography? Because till now we discussed just the repeated questions. I am not discussing the difficult topics, I am just telling what all things you have to prepare. Yes. So I think if I tell you the questions, because here I think we covered questions till 2023 only. Okay, let me see if we are missing anything. Yes, I think in 2023 UPSC has asked one question on fjords. Oh my God. UPSC has asked one question on fjords. Have you read this question? Yes. So what are fjords? Do you have any idea? Oh, okay. If you don't know, I am just telling that no, these are very selective questions. No, which you might not answer if you haven't read it for the prelims. So actually this topic of fjords you will be reading under geomorphology. So I am just telling you how to prepare, because see, when you are preparing for geomorphology, so in geomorphology you will be reading two kind of forces. First kind of force will be the exogenetic forces, means the forces for which the main driver is the climate. Forces, for example, wind. Okay, forces, for example, water, glaciers. So all these kind of forces are called exogenetic forces. Second kind of forces are known as endogenetic forces. That means forces which are coming from within the earth. So since by the questions we already know that more topics are asked from plate tectonics. Plate tectonics is a part of endogenetic forces, because the plates inside the earth are moving and phenomena it is causing. If we talk about the exogenetic forces, so in exogenetic forces you will read that whenever the wind flows in desert region, what kind of landforms it will form, right? Whenever river flows in the region, what kind of landforms it will form. Whenever the glaciers flow in any region, what kind of landforms it will form. So this fjord is one of the coastal landform. So that's why I am telling you, whenever you prepare, so you prepare in this way, that okay, if I am reading about geomorphology, first of all I will read about endogenetic forces. In endogenetic forces, what all things can come? Plate tectonics, earthquake, volcanism, etc. In exogenetic forces, what all things can come? So I have to read line by line. I have to read what landforms can be formed by wind, what landforms can be formed by river, glacier, etc. So in this, that's why I am telling you. So even if you ask that how this question came, so this question is part of geomorphology only. See, but all these kind of questions you will not prepare specially for the mains. If you have read it for the prelims, that is okay. You will not prepare it specially. Okay, so I think fjords is done. This is also done. Resource geography. I think we will discuss now resource geography only, na? Yes. Yes, so now let's start with the resource geography. So see, in resource geography, every year you will find different questions, but one common theme here in the resource geography is, see, here question on in 2013, the main question was related to about the shale oil and gas. So when you analyze this complete thing, more and more questions are asked on the energy resources. Energy resources, for example, oil, or for example, solar energy, wind energy, more questions are asked on energy resources. And some other kind of questions, for example, the rubber or forest, all these type, because since all these are the resources only, so any year UPSC will focus on these. But if we talk about the repeated themes, so repeatedly UPSC is focusing on the energy resources. So it can ask about coal, it can ask about the mineral oil, solar energy, wind energy, about these resources. So see, here it asked about the shale oil and gas, here it asked about the coal mining, here it asked about mineral oil, here it asked about atomic energy. Okay, here it asked critically evaluate the various resources of the oceans which can be harnessed to meet the resource crisis. So ocean is, from ocean also you can generate energy. I think this we are done. Yes, now see, this question, India has immense potential of solar energy, though there are regional variations in its development. Elaborate. Read the question of after 2 years. Explain the potential of wind energy in India and explain the reasons for its limited spatial spread. Just the type of energy is changed, question remains the same. So what will be the conclusion for us whenever we are preparing this topic of when we are preparing this topic of resources? So what will be our conclusion? First conclusion will be that you have, first of all, you have to read about all the resources which are available in India and in world. So they can be the energy resources or they can be any other kind of resource. And so in resources, UPSC is mainly focusing on the energy resources. And in energy resource, so energy resources can also vary. What all types can be asked? About the atomic energy, about solar energy, wind energy. Some year UPSC can also ask about the hydro energy. UPSC can also ask about the coal. So basically UPSC is more and more focusing on the energy resources. Yes, apart from that, UPSC is focusing a lot on the water management. So water is also important resource. So here a lot of questions are being asked on the water. So I will discuss the questions of water separately because many questions are asked on water. Yes, so I think we are done with this. So see, now consider this, if you would have practiced this question of 2020 of the solar energy. So anyway you could have written easily the answer for this 2022, right? So the place where you have written what all things you have to read for the resources, in that also add the potential. So whenever you read about any resource, no, for that resource you have to read the potential also. Potential means if I am asking that what is the potential of solar energy in India. So potential does not mean that how at present solar energy is impacting India. Potential means that in what way it can benefit India in future. So this potential you have to read about any new source. Wind energy, solar energy. If we talk about the biomass energy, so biomass is also the emerging. So if you are reading about new thing, for that new thing you have to read the potential. So here UPSC asked about potential of solar also, here it has asked potential of wind also. Now here in source important topic will be water also, but water I will be discussing as a separate topic. Now a very important thing in geography is about the geopolitics. So all those topics which you read in international relations, so those topics you have to relate with geography also. Like this of 2014, how does India see its place in the economic space of rising natural resource rich Africa? So this theme would be the theme of current affairs of 2014, but what I am trying to explain is, for answering this question you must have a basic idea of the world map. In that world map you must have a basic idea of distribution of resources, that in near which continent what all resources are present. Then you can answer this question. Next question, what are the economic significances of discovery of oil in Arctic Sea and its possible environmental consequences? So for that you must know the location of Arctic Sea on the map, right? Then since this question is about discovery of oil, anyway you can answer. Just I am saying how to add the geographical perspective. Just make a world map, and in world map you can locate where is the Arctic Sea, and this in Arctic Sea where all oil resources can be found. South China Sea has assumed great geopolitical significance in the present context. Comment. Answer you already know if you have prepared for international relations. What geography you can add? Make the region of Pacific Ocean, locate where is South China Sea, and in South China Sea write 3-4 resources. That in South China Sea all these resources are there. That's why China is focusing on South China Sea. So this is how in international relations you add geography. Now a very important topic of water, because repeatedly questions are being asked from water. So basically what all type of questions are asked, that what are the regions of water availability in India, okay, so water resources in India, water scarcity in India, what are the solutions to manage the water stress in India, mainly these type of topics are asked. So see, let's start. In 2015, India is well endowed with fresh water resources. Critically examine why it still suffers from the water scarcity. So first of all, question is saying India already has fresh water resources. So for that you must know in India, in map of India, that okay, in this region we have a lot of water, in this region we have very less water. So in geography you have under the topic of water, you have a very important topic that we call as groundwater provinces. Meaning of groundwater provinces is, yes, so for example, this is a simple map of India. So in this map of India, you must have a basic idea about groundwater provinces, means the availability of groundwater in different regions in India. So even if I talk about the general, if we talk about the water, so see, this is the peninsular India, right? Peninsular India is the rocky surface. For any rocky surface, you will not be having much groundwater. So here, this is the region of low groundwater, right? If we talk about the fertile northern plains of UP, Bihar, these are the very fertile plains. So here, availability of groundwater will be very high. Here, availability of groundwater will be very low. Here also, this is the Marusthali region. Here also, it will be very low. Here I will say very low, here I will say low, and the remaining regions, maybe we can say the medium one. So see, if the question in the first line of the question says, oh, what happened? How? See, first line of the question says India is well endowed with fresh water resources. Critically examine why it suffers from the water scarcity. So see, UPSC could have easily asked only the question, critically examine why it still suffers from the water scarcity. But first of all, UPSC has given this line. Meaning of this is you must have the idea of water resources in India first. Then only you will analyze that even after having a lot of resources, India is still suffering from water scarcity. So to answer this question, you must have a basic idea. So now tell me that these are the water resources in India. Even then, why there is water scarcity in India? Yes? Yes, try at least. Yes, so this thing you can say for Northeast India, because what is happening in Northeast India, rainfall is happening a lot, but since a lot of deforestation is happening there, so water is not going down in the soil, it is just flowing away. So first reason for Northeast, yes, I can consider. Any other reason? No. So I am not asking that why those regions have water scarcity. I am saying even after having good water resource, even after that. So why I consider Northeast India? Because here water availability is good, rainfall is happening good, then also it is under water stress. Reason was because of deforestation, soil cannot hold the water. So please answer with respect to those areas where water availability is good, then also it is under stress. Yes, if we take the example of Maharashtra. So in Maharashtra, lot of sugarcane, yes? Very good, storage capacity. That even if you have good water availability, then also you are not able to store. So storage capacity, we can talk about Northeast India. That lot of rain is happening, but rainwater harvesting is not happening or storage is not happening. Very good. Yes, so I was discussing about Maharashtra. So see, one of the important reason that instead of despite of having good water, water scarcity is there because the choice of crops in India is not good. If I talk about Maharashtra, so in Maharashtra lot of farmers are growing sugarcane. Sugarcane is a water intensive crop and all the regions in Maharashtra does not have very good amount of water. But since government is giving FRP on that sugarcane, so in dry regions also farmers are cultivating sugarcane. So these are some of the regions. So this was the question. So when you are reading about the water as a topic, so that this map is a very basic thing because in water, first of all you will read the sources of water. So in sources of water, this map is important. Now having read about the sources of water, after that you will read the topic of water scarcity. So this UPSC has combined two topics. First of all, you must know the water sources, then you must know the water scarcity in India. What are the reasons for water scarcity in India? So please give a topic when you have to prepare the topic of water, first of all, you must have a idea of what is the consumption of water in different sectors in India. First of all, you must have an idea of that. So either you can make a pie chart, you can make a bar diagram, any kind of thing. After that, have a basic idea of what are the resources of water in India. So here I have talked just about groundwater. You have the surface water also. So when you read about the water availability, so read about groundwater plus read about the surface water, because many fertile rivers are also there in northern plains. So you have to read about the rivers also. And after that, based on question only you will be adding the topics, right? After that we read about the water scarcity. So please add the topic of water scarcity, that what are the reasons of water scarcity in India. Okay. Now go to other question. What is happening? I'm not able to change it. Yes, so just now we discussed about the freshwater resources and scarcity. Next, in what way microshed development project helps in water conservation in drought prone and semi-arid regions of India? So when you read about the solutions, in that add solutions for water scarcity, so in that add one solution as microshed water development. Right, so this is one of the solution, micro watershed development. So basically watershed means that, see, watershed means, for example, this is a area and from this area a particular river is flowing. Okay, and near this area a lot of trees are there, many trees are there, other kind of landscapes are also there, agriculture feed is also there. For example, consider this area. So watershed development means that in order to protect this water, you have to protect the entire ecosystem. Then only this river can remain healthy. So to protect the health of this river, you have to take care of the forest also, you have to take care of the trees also, you have to take care of agricultural fields also. Then only good rainfall will happen, and then only good amount of water will be present in the rivers. So this is the basic concept of watershed development. So on any answer of water, on any answer of water scarcity, please add watershed development as an important solution, because in watershed development community participation is required. So if community participation is required, no, so that solution will be the best solution for any problem. So see, if the community here thinks that if good water is present in the river, then our agricultural fields will flourish. Agricultural fields will flourish, then there will be socio-economic development. Then anyway, all the communities will come together to protect the river. That's why very good solution for water scarcity is the watershed development program. So that's why government is also running National Watershed Development Program. Yes, after that, effective management of land and water resources will drastically reduce the human miseries. Explain. So here, okay, land, leave it. The question is, if you are managing the water resources in a sustainable manner, then human miseries will reduce. So can you answer this question? How? Give me one example. If I am managing water resources in a good way, then how my problems will be solved? Yes, very good. How? Very good. Yes, very good. So see, I will elaborate his point. So basically he is saying, he has given the example of agriculture, that for example, my complete family is agricultural dependent. Now, if consider my area is very dry area, and if in that area I am growing water intensive crops, for example sugar cane, so it will be a loss for me only, because for sugar cane I have to take loans for the irrigation and all, for the seeds and all. But now if in that dry region I am growing the crops which are suitable for the dry region, then it will be beneficial for me only, no, I don't have to repay back the loans, no, it will be good for my income also. So this is one of the points. So on that lines you can write that if you are sustainably managing the water resources, it will reduce the human problems. Same thing comes with the management of land. How land can be managed? Yes? Yes, very good, changing the crops, because if repeatedly you are growing same crop year after year, fertility will reduce. So that's why management of land is also required. So this point can be added here. Now, what is water stress? Very simple. Just now we were discussing water stress, simply it is asked what is water stress. How and why does it differ regionally in India? Again, same type of problems, why it is differing, that means why scarcity is happening, very basic. How will the meeting of Himalayan glaciers, or meeting not, it's melting, how will be the melting of Himalayan glaciers have a far reaching impact on the water resources of India? Because I think in environmental geography we had that topic, no, polar ice caps, glaciers. So whenever you read about any phenomena, you have to read the impact, right? So here this melting of ice glaciers is asking the impact on the water resources. So how will you answer this type of question? Yes, yes. Any other thing? Economy will be disrupted, very good. So under that topic of water, add one topic, impact on water resources because of melting of glaciers. And in that add two sections. First section will be positive impact, second section will be negative impact. Next, what are the environmental implications of reclamation of water bodies into urban land use? Explain with examples. Here it is asking if you are reclaiming means if you are maintaining the health of water bodies in urban areas, what will be the impact of that? How can you answer this question? Yes, any doubt? Yes, but it is asking what are the environmental implications of reclaiming of water bodies into urban land. So it is asking environmental implications. Yes, so think if you are keeping the urban water bodies healthy, then how it will affect positively environment? How? Yes? See, if water bodies are healthy, then the environment nearby will be cooled, right? It won't be the very high temperature like Delhi. First important thing. Next. Yes? Repeat. Groundwater recharge, very good. If groundwater is recharged, then water availability for the humans as well as wildlife will be there. So in these ways you have to relate. How do the melting of Arctic ice and glaciers of Antarctic differently affect the weather patterns and human activities on the earth? Explain. So here it is asking impact of melting of ice on weather patterns and human activity. So whenever you read about this topic of ice or glaciers, so you have to read the impact on climate, you have to read the impact on humans, you have to read the impact on water resources, you have to read the impact on wildlife, environment, etc. Basically, read one topic and read its impact on all the other topics. Why is the world today confronted with the crisis of water availability and access to fresh water resources? Again question on water stress. Why water stress is happening? So earlier maybe the question was regionally on India. This question, in this question you have to add for the world. So just like for India you added groundwater provinces, for world you have to make a world map, and on that world map you have to locate some 5-6 places which are the places for the water stress, and some places the places which have very good amount of groundwater or rivers. So same thing for India, same thing for the world. So understood, these type of questions are asked on water. Now if UPSC ask any question this year, and if I have, no, it's not possible, maybe I have not practiced by writing all these questions, but just even by brainstorming, for example we are doing now, that what we can write here, what we can write here. Can you answer this year's question if it is asked now? Because here we have discussed the concept of water stress also, we discussed about the water resources also, we discussed the solution like watershed management also, we discussed the impact of glaciers on the climate also, everything about water we discussed. Now if any question is asked, easily I can write, and even if the question comes tough, so if I am not able to answer, no one can answer, that's it. Otherwise everything you have prepared from 2015 to 2023, all these things UPSC can ask. And yes, one more thing, when you are preparing about the water, or for that matter anything in geography, so you must prepare in two ways. First kind of preparation must be spatially. Spatial preparation means, spatially means how thing is varying over the space. For example, just now we discussed about, just now we discussed about this map, no? So this is the spatial variation. Spatial variation means in different spaces how a particular thing is varying. Temporal variation, so second kind of variation must be temporal. Temporal variation means how a particular geographical phenomena or any resource is changing over a period of time, like what it was in 2000 and what it is in 2026. So this thing will give you 1 extra or 2 extra marks in any answer. So for example, if you are discussing the topic of cyclones, or you are discussing the topic of climate change, so for climate change you can discuss specially that how climate change is impacting countries or states in India. After that you have to discuss how climate change is varying over the period of time. So for any phenomena or any resource you must have these two discussions, spatial variation also, temporal variation also. So here when you are discussing about water, so water spatial we discussed, temporal also discussed. So how you will write temporal? Make a simple graph, here write some of the years and here write the variation, that how over a period of time availability of water has reduced, how over a period of time availability of any natural resource has reduced. If I am talking about the monsoon, spatial variation you know, where good water is there, where we don't have. For temporal variations, in monsoon you have the monsoon variability, right? That for example in regions of Rajasthan variability will be very high. In regions of northeast India variability will be very high because the rainfall will be intensified. So for that will be the temporal variation. So over a period of time you are saying that earlier the monsoon was definite, but over a period of time variability has increased. So in any topic of geography variability you must mention. Now yes, so we are done with this topic of water. Is there any other thing? Yes, comment on the resource potentials of long coastline of India and highlight the status of natural hazard preparedness in these areas. Comment on the resource potentials of long coastline of India. So basically this I can include in the topic of resources also, right? Because in resources we discussed about the ocean resources, mineral resources, other kind of energy resources. So here basically it is talking about the resource potential of coastline only. So in coastline what all resources you can have? Yes? Marine life, okay. Any other thing? Wind energy, okay. Hydro energy, any other thing? See, to answer this question, first of all you must know what all resources are available in India. What resources are there? Forest resources, energy resources, economic resources. Economic resources like minerals, fisheries, these are the economic resources. So first have a basic idea that these 5-6 resources are there in India. I have read. Now see in India's coastline, how many of those resources can be available? Just think about that. So there are fishes, right? Fishery, economic resources. On India coastline you can easily get the oil, so economic resource, right? You can get wind energy, hydro energy, so energy resource. So actually UPSC can give here any region. If you have the idea what resources can be available where, you can easily answer. Now the groundwater potential of Gangetic Valley is on a serious decline. How it may affect the food security of India? So here it is asking the impact of water scarcity on the food security. Okay. So when you are discussing about the water stress, so in water stress you shall be discussing the impact on human life. So in impact on human life, this will be the one of the impact. What will be the impact? Because of the water stress you will be having very less water for the irrigation, hence it will impact the irrigation agriculture, hence it will affect the human life. So if I have just brainstormed only all these questions, you can answer any type of question. Yes, food resources not much. Yes, one more important thing I wanted to discuss here. When you are writing about this resource potential or its impact on human life, so I think I wrote this type of question was asked. Just a second. Yes, see in 2025 this question was asked, that how the resource availability in India impact the population distribution in India. Okay, so what is the meaning of this statement which I am saying? My question is, so just explain me the question, I am not asking the answer. I am saying that how resources availability in India is impacting the population of that region. Yes, very good. So this is also a favorite topic of UPSC. So here UPSC is linking physical geography with human geography. So now quickly I will make a very big map. Now you only will tell me, because this will help you to read any topic holistically. Maybe UPSC will not ask directly this question again. But for example, UPSC just now asked about coastline of India, right? Next time it can ask why the population in the coastline of India is very high, density is high. Reason? Resources. So here quickly I will make a very simple map. Okay, so this is map of India. Okay. Now quickly tell me in which region what all resources can be present. Okay, so tell me the resources. So in Tamil Nadu's nuclear power plant is there. That means on coastline of India you have thorium reserves. That's why nuclear power plant is there. Okay, so basically first thing I will write here thorium reserves. But actually my question was how population density is affected by resources. I am not just asking the resources. Tell me those resources because of which population density is high. Yes, so see, if I talk about this northern plain, in northern plain fertile rivers are there. That's why in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh population is very high. So here I will write availability of water resources. So here water resources will be groundwater also and surface water also. That's why in northern plains population density is very high. Tell me other. So there what are the resources? Tell me both kind, that if in this region population is less, so because of what it is less, and if in this region population is more, because of what it is more. In marine activity. Okay, so basically here I can write about the fisheries. Any other thing? Yes? So what there? So yes, so but population is living here, right? So some kind of resource must be there. What is that resource? Livestock, cattle grazing you can write. So that's why the main population is here, the cattle grazing or livestock, because land is not fertile, so they are using the domestic animals. So here cattle or livestock. Yes, okay, very good. Here coal reserves. Any other? Yes, what? Okay, okay, so here also I can write the fisheries. Okay. What? Spices. Okay, very good. Tea in Assam, very good. So what we are discussing here, that the population distribution, how it is varying based on the resource availability. Why many people are not living in this region? Because it is cold region, it is not having much resources. Why people are living, why less people in Marusthali, why do we have less population of people? In Marusthali not many people live, because not many resources are there. Because if anywhere people are living, some or the other resource must be there, then only people will live. So in this way, when you prepare this topic of resources, you can make simply a map, that in this region this resource is more, in this region this resource is more, that's why population density is high. Now if I ask a very simple question, that why population density is very high in northern plains? Availability of water resources. Second thing, soil is very fertile there. If I ask why population density is very high in the coastal regions? Availability of fisheries, availability of spices, right? All these things you can write. Yes, my next question is, how the human activity depends on the resource availability of that region? This is also a very important question. Similarly related question, tell me. Yes, so give the example. My question is, how the human activities are impacted by the resource availability of that region? Yes, so here if coal reserves are there, then obviously there will be power plants, right? If we have fisheries here, then right, the development of sports. If we have spices here, trade will be impacted, right? If we have production of tea here also trade for tea you can say. Here since we do not have fertile land, so what will be the human activities here? Livestock rearing, cattle rearing, right? Here we have a lot of resources, so what is the main human activity here? Agriculture, right? If we talk about the western Himalayas, it is not much fertile. So what is the main human activity here? Tourism, very good. So understood, right? So UPSC can ask these two type of questions. So please relate the resource availability with the human activities in that region. So in this way you can also answer these type of questions, that why in this region population is less, why in this region population is more. Because this question UPSC has asked, that why in Ganga river basin population density is very high. So this was the reason. Okay, so I think we are done with this. Yes. Now coming to next topic of resources, that is the location of industries. So see, in location of industries, every year UPSC is asking different kind of industries, like what is the reason for iron industry, cotton textile industry, etc. So see, every kind of industry I won't be discussing here. What I will be discussing, yes, what I will be discussing is that what mainly you have to write in the industries. If any topic comes, that why coal industry is located only in this area, or why cotton industry is located only in this area. So the basic answer you will prepare. You will write what are the factors based on which the industry is there. Here I will tell you the value addition what you have to do in the topic of industries. What value addition you can do? First thing is, I will tell you basic theories. I will not explain the theories because these theories are for geography optional. So in your answer you have to just mention the name of the theory. Automatically you will get extra marks. So any topic of industries, industry corridor or any kind of industry, special economic zone, anything. First important concept is the location triangle. Location triangle. Please write it. On any answer of industry, either it is in GS paper 1, either it is in economy GS paper 3. When you write the conclusion or write the solution, no, you just write that location of industries must be according to Weber's location triangle. That's it. So briefly I will tell. Weber's locational triangle theory says that what should be the location of a particular industry so that the cost of labor, the cost of raw material as well as the distance from the market, all these things can be optimized. So in this theory tells that thing. So on any answer of industry, do this value addition, write about this. Next thing is, on any topic of industry, add one theory, that is the growth pole theory. In conclusion, write growth pole theory. See, basically, why I am discussing this, because I cannot discuss each and every topic of industry, cotton industry, iron and steel. I am just explaining. I am assuming you have the basic answer. Now you have to gain 1-2 extra marks. So in that you can add growth pole theory. How? So if for example a question comes on the importance of industries in any country, or UPSC can give name of any emerging industry and it will ask how this industry will benefit India, or what is the potential of this industry for any country. So in that you write the concept of growth pole. The growth pole means, for example, this is a particular place and this place is attracting a lot of investment. Why? Because of any historical reasons that earlier it attracted investment, or because it is benefited politically, because of any reason, but this place is attracting a lot of investment. Now growth pole theory says that now we have prepared this space. Now development will trickle down, or development will go to the nearby areas. So if you have the limited resources, you put all the resources in one area, then over a period of time nearby regions will get developed. So this is the concept of growth pole. So when you write the importance of industries, in conclusion or way forward you can write that this industry can act as an important growth pole for the India. So the development can happen to the nearby regions also, right? Yes. Oh, I have to avoid these things. Yes, here one more important thing. So in human geography, what all things we have discussed till now? Yes? In human geography we discussed about resources, we discussed about industries, right? Now in human geography, third important thing we shall be discussing about the demography, about the population. So see, in population, 2-3 kind of questions are asked. So this topic of population you can relate to Indian society also, because in society also you can relate to anything, but since we are discussing human geography, so I am discussing here also. So basically in population, some of the common questions which are asked are, first type of question is the changing nature of demography in India. Changing nature of demography in India. Changing nature means Earlier, what percentage of population were in the working force, and now what percentage of population are in the old age. Or second type, so all second type of question can be asked, that since more and more population are aging in India, so what will be the implications of that. So this you can relate to the Indian society also. So here basically you have to prepare the changing nature of demography in India. Now in this changing nature of demography, one value addition you have to do on any question of population, you have to add a very basic, very simple theory, that is demographic transition theory. So what happens in demographic transition theory? Yes. So here this is a basic graph. You can see from Google or any book. I am making a rough diagram. So in demographic transition theory, basically this is a graph. This theory says how the death rate and birth rate changes in any society based on the conditions of that society. So here this thing is the birth rate. Oh sorry, this is the death rate. This is the birth rate. So earlier in India, if we talk about before 1920s or 1920, 1921, so that time health conditions were not good in India. So that's why people had a lot of children, 9 children, 10 children, because there was no surety that children will survive. So at that time, death rate was also very high, birth rate was also very high. Over a period of time, because of the efforts by our government, death rate eventually reduced because health conditions improved, but birth rate still remained high. Now when we reached after 1970s, 1980s, so death rate was low, but now people began to get education. That's why birth rate also reduced. So now basically India is in this situation where birth rate is also low, death rate is also low. So no, it was in recent news that the fertility rate of India has reduced below 2.0 also. That means even people are not preferring 2 children. Actually some people are not preferring children also. So this is the situation here. So I am not explaining this in very much detail, but please remember, on any question of demography, population challenges, briefly make this small diagram. That so here this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3, this is stage 4. So after making this diagram, in small words you can easily say that at present India is in the stage 4, and mostly the urban India is in stage 4 of demographic transition, and rural India is still under stage 3 of demographic transition. So this is how we are using the geographic terms in our answer. Instead of writing population is very high, population is very low, make a small diagram and say that under demographic transition, rural India is in stage 3, urban India is in stage 4. Yes. Now next thing I think I will teach here only related to this only. And sometimes UPSC can ask question to compare the population status of developing as well as developed countries. So in that also you can make that diagram. So see, in that diagram now make a 5th stage. In 5th stage, death rate remains same, but birth rate reduces more. So in 4th stage, death rate, birth rate was equal. Now in 5th stage, what you will do? Death rate make a straight line, birth rate make a downward line. And in 5th stage, right, this is the condition of some of the Southeast Asian countries, for example Japan or South Korea. This is the condition there, and plus China. This is the condition of those countries. Yes. So if UPSC asks you to compare the population situation of developing as well as developed countries, make this diagram there. The developing countries, some of the African countries are still in the stage 2, Rural India is in stage 3, urban India is in stage 4, developed countries is in stage 5. So after discussing this, write the challenges of both these, because urban developed countries will have other challenges because their old age population is high, right? Developing and underdeveloped countries will have other population challenges because here population is young but population is not educated and healthy. So in this way you will prepare your topic of society also. Difference will be, maybe in society you will not make this diagram, but in geography you have the scope. So here make this diagram, compare the developed as well as developed countries, write the challenges and write the benefits also. What will be the benefits? Benefit for India, India is having demographic dividend. That means India have the potential of very good workforce. What will be the benefit of developed countries? Their population is educated a lot. So that population can educate the younger generations. So both have the challenges also, both have the benefits also. So in this way you read this population of the topic of population. In this topic of population, make one more important thing, and that is the age sex pyramid. So basically through age sex pyramid you can analyze that what percentage of population is below 15 years, what percentage of population is in the working age, what percentage of population is in the old age. So based on that you can tell the status of country. So see here yes, so here I will talk about the population and here I will talk about the age. Okay, so see, if I am making this pyramid as this, so here I will be saying 0 to 15 years, here I will be saying 60 years and here above 60 years, that is the old age. So what is the meaning of this pyramid? The meaning of this pyramid is, see, this is the population, right? Meaning of this pyramid is that a lot of people are taking birth, right? Because this base is very high. Lot of people are taking birth and they are surviving till 15 years. But since health and education conditions are not good, so whenever the age rises, the population reduces. Are you able to see? So here population is reducing and not many people are able to reach the old age. So here if I talk about the population, so very less amount of population is able to reach the old age. So this diagram is suitable for which country? Yes? For example, some of the African countries where death rate is also very high, birth rate is also very high. In yes, some regions of our country, this can be the diagram. So this kind of diagram you can make for any underdeveloped or developing country. So I am explaining how to interpret it. Interpretation is, lot of people are taking birth but they are not able to reach the working age or old age because health and education facilities are not good. Yes, very good, some of the countries in Africa. Now if I talk about the developed world, so this pyramid will almost reverse. This will be the pyramid of developed world. What it is saying, less amount of people are taking birth, but the people who already took birth, they are able to survive in the old age. That's why this base is less but this base is more. So people who already took birth, because of good health condition, they are able to survive. That's why they are reaching here. But now since people are educated, they are not giving birth to many children. That's why this base is low. So in this way you add value to your answers because content will remain same, but these all things can differentiate you. Okay, so I think we are done with the topic of population, the topic of resources, the topic of industries. Okay. Yes, now I will start focusing on the value addition of all the topics. Okay. So I think first of all we started the discussion with geomorphology, right? So let's start with geomorphology only. So for some of the topics I discussed there itself. For the remaining topics I will start now. Okay. So see, for geomorphology I will give the value addition only for those topics which are repeated. So I will not make all the diagrams, I will just tell the name of the diagram that make all these diagrams. So see, mainly the topics are related to plate tectonics. how volcanoes erupt, how earthquakes happen, right, how mountains are formed, right, all these type of questions. So here the very basic thing for you is that when you write question about the mountain formation, so there must be a very basic diagram of the convergent plates. See, this is a very basic diagram, but you have to make these simple diagrams only. So this is oceanic plate and this is continental plate. And here you can label the diagram that here materials will accumulate, they will accumulate over a period of time, a mountain will be formed. And here this material will melt, and this material will melt, it will rupture the ground, and here volcanoes can happen. So these are the very basic diagrams when you talk about geomorphology. Very basic, but please don't miss, because you cannot write the entire answer in 7 minutes, 10 marker. So if you fill your pages with these things, then you have to write very less. So here we discussed about mountains, here we discussed about the volcanoes, and in same diagram you can add the concept of earthquakes. So here you can make a small points. Here you can say these are the areas of deep focus earthquakes, because whenever plates collide for any collision, earthquakes will be there. But the earthquakes for the convergent boundary are very risky than the divergent, because they will be very strong. So these kind of basic diagrams you can make in geomorphology. Let me see if I am missing anything. Yes, second thing, this is the diagram, we are done. Second thing, I am talking about the maps. So for any geographical phenomena, have a basic idea of India also and of world also. So here have a basic idea of India and then have a basic idea of the world. How? For example, if I talk about earthquakes, then make a map of India and locate on that map that which areas are more prone to earthquakes. If I talk about cyclone, make a map of India and tell which areas are prone to cyclones. If I talk about the forest fires, so make a map of India, locate the regions which have very high density of forest, and then tell, because of the high density forest fires are there. Make a map, tell them which all areas are prone to heat waves, because during the time of summer in North India you see the news of heat waves. So make a map and see, every time it's not necessary to make the complete map. If you are talking about the peninsular India, that's it. This is the peninsular India. If you are talking only of the northeast India, that's it. This is northeast India. So every time don't make the complete map. Make only if you need complete India, then only make. Okay. So first thing, in geomorphology you have to make the diagrams. For any phenomena you have to make the diagram, because you cannot explain geographic phenomena without it. And second thing, you have to make the map. So India I discussed. If I talk about the world, so for example question came on circum-Pacific zone. So in world map, go back home, please open your atlas. In your atlas, look what are the divergent and what are the convergent boundaries on the map. Because on the map, if you are able to see the divergent and convergent boundaries, then if UPSC asks any question, then why this phenomena is happening here, even if you don't know the location of that place, if you know that divergent or convergent boundary was present there, that's why it is happening. So you can easily write the answer. Like if I give you any hypothetical name, I give you and I ask that why mountain formation is happening there. If you have seen your atlas, and if you know that convergent boundaries are present there, in convergent boundaries fold mountains can be formed, right? If I am asking that why archipelagos are present in Japan or Indonesia, what is the reason for that? So even if you don't know the region of Indonesia, Japan, but you know that to form the archipelagos, oceanic plate must converge. So even if you don't know anything, if you know just this thing, you can write the answer. So on the map, please look, because in atlas it is easily given. So I think these kind of lines represent the convergent boundary and some different thing is for divergent. So please look. So if you see the region of circum-Pacific belt, no, majorly you will see these kind of lines, because the entire circum-Pacific belt is the convergent boundary only. Okay, so this is for the geomorphology. Now comes for the climatology. Have I missed anything for the geomorphology? Yes, I think one thing I missed in geomorphology only, where you are writing all these things, make a star point and write for any answer of geomorphology. You will end your answer, or somewhere you will mention about the disaster management, because you talk about geomorphology, you will talk about any disaster. So there you have to write the solutions also. Relate any topic of geomorphology with the disasters, and after that give the solutions also for those disasters. And yes, the technical terms which I was talking about, if I talk about here geomorphology, so for example, if I simply say the word mountain formation, instead of mountain formation, geographical term is the orogeny. So if you read all these terms, no, so instead of writing generic terms, try to write all these terms: orogeny, folding, faulting, block mountains. So all these are the geographical terms. So I think yes, we are done with this. Now, so since we are done with this diagram, let's quickly summarize that what should be your format of answer for any question of geomorphology. Okay, so here first of all, you will give a basic intro. If it is any phenomena, you will write the definition or anything. After that, either make a diagram or a map. If you are making diagram, then map on second page. If map here, then diagram on next page. After that, explain the phenomena, whatever you are doing. After that, relate it with the any kind of disaster, or how it is impacting human life or wildlife, etc. And after that, if you have any idea of any theory, so please add that. Theory means in geomorphology we read about the sea floor spreading, right? What is sea floor spreading? Yes, over a period of time, because of the divergent boundary, the continents move apart and sea emerges. This is sea floor spreading. So sea floor spreading is a theory. So on any answer of geomorphology, try to add the basic theories of sea floor spreading, or if any question comes about the mountain formation, so here what theory will be there? Plate tectonics is itself a theory. So sea floor spreading, plate tectonics, all these are the theories. So in any answer, have a basic name of 2 or 3 basic theories. And after that, the solutions. Solutions for what? Since you have related this phenomena to any disaster, so for that you have to give the solutions. Or if you want solutions, and in the conclusion, for any answer of geomorphology, add a human angle. That how humans are impacting this, or how this is impacting humans. So all these components must be there on any answer of geomorphology. And yes, along with all these things, add examples, current examples. Yes. So see, okay, for disaster management we will discuss later. Okay. Next, climatology, value addition for climatology. Yes. Is it getting late? So shall I continue? Because it's already 2 hours. Okay. Climatology. So see, in climatology I will be giving the value addition only for the repeated topics. Okay. So first very repeated topic is the monsoon itself, right? So here for the monsoon. So for monsoon, the first basic thing will be the mechanism of monsoon itself, right? The map which I already made. So in that map, make a map, and then in that map show the Arabian Sea branch, and after that show the Bay of Bengal branch. So this will be the basic map. After that basic map, you must have a basic idea of, so when you read the mechanism of monsoon, in that you read the concept of monsoon trough, right, IT season. So have a basic idea of that also. So here when you talk about, whenever you talk that why less rainfall is happening in India, or why over a period of time less rainfall is happening, so there you can use the concept of monsoon trough. So in this here, if I talk about monsoon trough, so this is the situation of summer. In summer, monsoon trough or ITCZ is near the northern plains. So because of that, southwest monsoon is attracted here. Next diagram you can make that this is the situation during the winters. So during the winters, ITCZ shift south of the equator. That's why all these winds are attracted here and monsoon recedes from India. So these basic diagrams must be there on any answer related to monsoon. Done? Yes. Now question was asked on the temperature inversion, right? Or for that matter anything related to that. So for temperature inversion, even if you cannot make a very detailed diagram, just make a very simple diagram. See, if I talk about the temperature inversion or for any phenomena, see, this is very simple. Here you can write normal conditions. This is the temperature inversion condition. So normal condition, what will happen? Warm air will rise, it will become cold. This is the normal condition. Temperature inversion condition, here cold air will be present, here warm air will be present. You can write that cold air cannot rise. This is your diagram. Because for temperature inversion you cannot make any detailed diagram. This is your diagram. So this kind of flow diagrams you can make. Yes, next topic which is more in news is about the urban heat island, right? So for urban heat island also, on any topic related to urban problems, you yourself add this topic of urban heat island, because this is urban problem only and you will get one opportunity to make the diagram. So for urban heat island, simply make, this is urban heat island. What is here? This is the core urban area. So in this core urban area, the temperature will be high compared to surroundings. So for example, here surroundings, if this is 20 degree, this is 20 degree, so here maybe it will be 23 or 24 degree centigrade. So this is the basic diagram of urban heat island. So in urban, whenever you write about urban challenges, one point add about urban heat island and small diagram you can make about urban heat island. Yes. So these were the topics for the climatology, and yes, just like we discussed about geomorphology, that for every topic of geomorphology you have to relate with disaster management. For every topic of climatology, you have to relate with the global phenomena. For example, El Nino, La Nina, all these kind of phenomena you have to relate with climatology. Like when you are discussing about monsoon, so discuss the impact of El Nino or La Nina on monsoon. So for any topic of climatology, relate everything with the global phenomena. Second thing, for every answer of climatology, relate everything with the oceanography, because mostly these climatic phenomena are linked with the ocean also. So these many linkages you will get in your answer. Yes. After that, write the institutions. In answer of climatology, you must mention some important institutions which are related to climate. So it shows your answer more authentic. So what are those institutions? For example, IPCC report you can add, National Disaster Management Authority you can add. Even if you don't know that any body has said that, if it is good, it would have said that. So anywhere you can write about Ministry of Earth Sciences have given this solution. Write your solution by yourself. Yes. Now last thing about the interlinkages in climatology topic. So whenever possible, link the topics of climatology with agriculture, link it with water stress or anything, link it with urban planning, and link it with the energy development. See why we are discussing all these factors in one single topic of climatology, because maybe UPSC can ask a question for 20 marks and you just know what the phenomena is, that's it. How you will fill the 3 pages? So these are only things which are done by the toppers, that they have different things in their mind. Okay, and I can write this phenomena, then I can relate this phenomena with the global phenomena, then I can link this phenomena with the other topics, that's it, 3 pages are filled. So in this way you have to do. So if I make the basic framework of all the answers for the climatology, so what will be that framework? First of all, the name or definition of that phenomena, you have to describe that phenomena. After that you will be making the diagram or map, right? Here you have to add the recent examples. After that you have to add, relate it with any global phenomena, and finally a forward looking conclusion. And please relate topics of climatology with oceanography and with, I told 2 things. Yes, global phenomena. Yes, and in the environmental geography, I think we discussed all the questions, right? So see, those questions shows that these type of topics can only be repeated. What were those topics? See, first question was asked on the coral reefs, right? Question was asked on the mangroves. Question was asked on the, I think what question was asked? No, I think I haven't discussed one question. 2 type of questions were also asked. One question was the impact of climate change on agriculture, impact of climate change on food security. So these topics will also come under environment geography only. Okay. So here when I am saying that you have to relate the concept of climatology with agriculture or with food security, so you can easily answer. I am just telling the themes. I think I missed these things. So one was mangroves, one was corals, and yes, one we discussed about the ecological carrying capacity of Himalayas, right? So it is the topic of environment only. Okay, so I think we are done with this. Yes, now next thing, oceanography. Quickly I will discuss about the oceanography. What all things can be added? Yes, I know it will be a bit tiring, but at least let me give all the value additions. Okay, so for the oceanography, first of all, you must have a basic idea of the map. What will you show in the map? All the ocean currents. In those you must know which are cold currents, which are warm currents, and what is the impact of cold currents, warm currents. This you must know. After that, in that map, have a idea that about the region of continental shelf as well as exclusive economic zones of some of the important countries. Right? Because this is part of IR also, but for geography also this is important. Because in continental shelf, exclusive economic zones, you will get an idea that what amount of resources will be available with what country. After that, in that map, add what kind of polymetallic nodules or what other kind of resources are available in different oceans. And in that map only add the important fishing regions, and in that fishing regions make a star mark and write you have to search for those locations, those fishing regions where warm current and cold current converge. Because UPSC has asked, I think, this question in 2022. So I cannot say 100% that whenever that fishing grounds will only be there where these currents converge, but mostly where the warm and cold currents converge, there will be good fishing grounds. So you have to look for that. Yes. Now for oceanography, from current affairs point of view, one type of current is very important, that is Atlantic meridional overturning circulation. Please write that. AMOC, AMOC. So I think we don't have much time. So do you want me to explain it or you will read it? AMOC. Yes? Do you want me to explain it? So I will sum up in just 5 minutes, but I cannot explain in detail. I don't have much time. So you will read it or shall I explain it? Explain. You will read it. Okay, so please read it because it was in current affairs only. So please read it. Along with that, the AMOC you have to make the diagram also, because without diagram you cannot understand it. Yes. Okay, we are done with this. Yes. Now, what all things you have to relate in this oceanography? So, on any question of oceanography, you have to relate with climatology, obviously. You have to relate with the global phenomena like El Nino, La Nina, ENSO, circulations, all these things. Relate all the topics of oceanography with economy. Everything you can relate with economy. And relate all the topics of oceanography with international relations. Is anything left? Let me see once. Here. Yes, now quickly give the heading of human geography. I will tell you what all things you have to add there. Yes. So for human geography, please, I think I will tell you the theories first. Okay. So in human geography, I will just give you the name of theories and I will tell you that these theories where you can add. So I think for the industrial location, I already told about Weber industrial location theory, right? Now next give the heading. What heading you have to give? Yes. Give the heading, write central place theory. Central place theory. Yes. So actually this is Christoller central place theory. This is Christoller's central place theory. So I will tell you the how to use this theory. Yes. So whenever any question comes related to the urban sustainability or urban problems or urban congestion, so you can write Christoller's central place theory as a solution. What this theory says, this theory gives a proper arrangement of various functions in a city so that neither congestion happens and neither undercrowding happens in the city. So to deal with all the urban problems, urban congestion, you can write in solution Christoller's central place theory. That's it. Yes. Next theory, write von Thunen agricultural model. Von Thunen agricultural model. So on any question related to agriculture, so in solution you can write that agriculture must be managed or agriculture must be controlled as per von Thunen agriculture model. So basically von Thunen agricultural model says that how you can plan your agricultural activities, or how many number of zones must be there in your economic activities, so that the economic benefit becomes maximum. So this is the gist of that theory. Done, right? And growth pole theory we already discussed, right? Demographic transition theory we discussed. Write one more theory, that is core periphery model. Core periphery model. So the core periphery model, you use this theory on any question related to regional development. Whenever question comes about disparities, regional development, or why one area is growing and why one area is not growing, so you have to mention about core periphery model. So basically the concept of core periphery model is that once first a core area will be developed, so this core area you can consider as the developed countries of the world. For example, the countries in North America or Japan, South Korea, these are the developed. So core periphery model says that this core is the developed countries of the world, and since these countries were already developed, so all the investments and every good thing was attracted to these countries. Because of that, the periphery countries or the developing underdeveloped countries could not develop. But over a period of time, the development or growth trickled down to these countries also. That's why now these countries are also developing. So this is the concept of core periphery model. So when you write about this answer on economic disparities, no, so explain everything, then say this can also be explained through core periphery model. That's it. Don't need to give detail, never give detail, it's just for the optional, just for the value addition I am telling you. Okay, so I think we are done with this. Continental drift theory, okay. Plate tectonics theory is okay. Okay, so I think we are done with this part of geography. Everything we covered, I think. Yes, now let me see if I have ended anything. Yes, actually I haven't discussed about the case studies. Do you know how to write the case studies in the answers? No? See, if you expand any example in 3 or 4 lines, it becomes the case study. And if you just mention the name, that is an example. So for the value additions which I told, no, that make the diagram, make the maps, write all these things. So in that add the case studies also. Because it becomes very monotonous, you just write the examples. So how to write case studies? See, this also I will tell you. This case study is very important in geography subject. So for case study, make a very small box, write the name of case study, explain that example in 1, 2, 3 lines, and make a very simple map of what region you are talking about. That is, case study means discussing the case of any region. So in case study, map is also important. So this will add variation in your answer. Yes, and one more thing, when you are writing about the conclusion, this I am generalizing for the topics of geography wherever it suits. So mostly I discussed you have to relate it with the disaster management, right? So in any answer, you can use about the sustainable development goals for the conclusion. After that, you can write about national disaster management plan. After that, you can write about the Sendai framework, SENDAI. Sendai framework is related to disaster management only. And if you are writing any question on climatology, you can mention about the Paris Climatic Agreement. Just mention, don't need to describe anything. Plus, add any technological aspect if possible. How you can use technological aspect? If I am talking about the flood prone regions, So what will be the technological aspect? Through satellite mapping you will know the flood prone regions, so that you will be already prepared for the any hazard in the flood prone areas. So add any technological aspect. Yes. So they are asking something. Okay, I will see. Give me 2 minutes. And plus add the community participation, because this shows how you are relating any unrelated phenomena also to human beings. Wherever possible, add community participation, because we discussed one question on micro watershed development, right? Their role was community, role of community was very important. In any disaster management, role of community is very important. So add role of community. Okay, so this will be the generalized conclusion for the geography. Now, if anything is left for the disaster management, so yes, in disaster management, every year around 20 or 30 marks questions are being asked, and around 50% questions you can prepare with geography. So what are those questions? All the geographic phenomena, all those questions can be prepared with geography. For example, landslides, floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruption, marine heat waves, forest fires, glacial lake outflow, all these are the geographic phenomena, but they are disasters also. So you can prepare that. Along with that, UPSC actually ask about the disaster preparedness. So if you prepare the disaster preparedness also in geography, you are done with this. So in disaster preparedness, how you will write? So what are the basic stages for the preparedness? First of all, you must work on the prevention of the disaster, right? After that, you must work on the preparedness. So first of all, you have to prevent that disaster, but along with preparedness, you must be prepared that it can happen anytime. After preparedness, you will focus on the response. If anything happens, then how you will respond, and after that you will focus on recovery. And please add a fifth point. This is not generally given in the books. So fifth point is build back better. Build back better means develop the resilience so that any disaster can no longer affect you, or no longer any disaster can happen. So this is the additional point if you want to write any answer specifically for disaster management. So in this way you can write. And in disaster management, role of community is very important. Role of community I already discussed, that you have to mention. After that, in disaster framework, Sendai framework I already discussed. NDMA guidelines you have to write, okay. And yes, in disaster management, please write that your approach must be proactive and not reactive, because nowadays government is also focusing on that only. And one more important thing for disaster management, add about the urban electrical fires, because this is important part for this geography. And after that, one more, this was also from current affairs, about the fires in the crackers factory, because this is more of a topic of disaster management. Okay, now the last thing, actually I wanted to show some of the current affairs of this year. Yes. So these were the important current affairs which you can add in your answers. What are those current affairs? First is about the critical minerals, because these critical minerals are very much in the news. So under the topic of resources, this critical minerals you can write. So critical minerals is important for IR also, and they are important for geography also. Next about the deep sea mining. Deep sea mining also related to resources. Next about the rare earths. So critical minerals, rare earths. Next, lithium and energy transition. So because of the energy transition, energy availability, lithium is also in news. So what geography can you use in lithium? You can make the world map. You can talk about the lithium triangle and other lithium locations of the world. After that, this white hydrogen was also in news. So please note some of these topics because you can use all these topics in exam. This AMOC, I already told you what is AMOC. Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. Next, this current was also in news, Antarctic Circumpolar Current. So please note that also. Then early monsoon and monsoon variability. But this is in news also, and even if it is not in news, you have to read about monsoon variability. After that, forest fires. So here, since California fires were in news, so write the definition of forest fire. Example, recent California fires. After that, offshore aquifers. In the topic of water scarcity, you can write this concept of offshore aquifers. After that, this Kane-Betwa river linkage. Yes, river linkage is also very important topic under environment geography. There we have the topic of river bodies and polar ice caps, no? So there, this will be also important topic. After that, expanded coastline of India, Chorabari Glacier. Yes, this Chorabari Glacier was also in news. So on any topic of glacier melting, you can add this example. Then Himalayan hazards, any kind of hazard can happen in Himalaya. Landslides, earthquakes, forest fires, any type. After that, tropical cyclones, very common. After that, climate change and India's demographic shift. Demographic shift we discussed. In climate change, anything you can relate to climate change. Yes, is anything left? Yes, so I think I am done from my side. Any doubt you can ask. It's too late, I think. Okay, so do you have any doubt? Any doubt? No? So everything is crystal clear? It may not be crystal clear, but at least you might have got some idea, right? So do you have any other class also? No?